This episode is brought to you by HASA. Liquid is clearly better. Liquid chlorine is the highest purity, works immediately, has no added cyanuric acid or calcium, and it will leave your pool safe, clean, and clear. And by the Bottom Feeder professional grade battery powered vacuum system. It sucks to clean pools, so cleaning pools sucks less. Get $100 off with code DVB100.
This episode is brought to you by Skimmer, the #1 pool service software in North America. With Skimmer, you can streamline your schedule, grow your revenue, and keep your customers coming back with 5-star service. Whether you're a one-person operation or an established team, Skimmer is your partner in success. Visit getskimmer.com/poolguy to try Skimmer for free for 30 days.
The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show.
Hi, welcome to the Pool Guy Podcast Show. In this episode, I'm going to continue talking about some problems you may run into with the transition from one owner of the home to another. I'm going to go over some tips and some things that you want to do and some things, of course, that you should avoid doing when you have this transaction with the new owner of the home. Are you a pool service pro looking to take your business to the next level? Join the Pool Guy Coaching Program. Get expert advice, business tips, exclusive content, and get direct support from me. I'm a 35-year veteran in the industry. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, I've got the tools to help you succeed. Learn more at swimmingpoollearning.com. I think following the same guidelines that you would follow if you were to purchase this pool from a pool broker is an important way to start this off. For instance, if you do make contact and take over the account and you're servicing the pool now for the new owner, I would not change anything for the first 6 months because they're going to be aware of your service rate. They're going to get that usually quoted to them from the selling agent. Sometimes the seller works for both the buyer and seller. So they're going to know how much you're charging prior to taking over. This is not the best time to bring that account current to the current market value, especially if you have an undercharging. So let's say, for instance, in your area, the current market value is $180 a month. But you've been charging Mr. Jones $140 a month because it's been a long-term customer, and you don't want to continue at that rate because it's below market. So the new owner takes over, and then the first month of service you do that at $180 a month, and they're questioning you, saying you were doing this pool at $140. Why are you charging me $180? Typically, that's going to cause them to cancel service. They have zero history with you. They have no goodwill built up with you. And if that were to happen, most homeowners are going to cancel service. Not a smart thing to do. Nor do you want to change the service day. I know this is tempting because maybe you're doing the pool on a Thursday, but it would fit much better on a Tuesday. Again, they're going to have all this information. Unless they're okay with it, I wouldn't automatically just switch days to a Tuesday. I've done this before, so I know the ramifications. I had a customer buy the house. I didn't really like Thursday, so I moved it to Tuesday. Didn't say anything because I figured, well, they're not going to know what service day it was anyway. But lo and behold, they came out and said, oh, I thought you were coming on Thursdays. The old owner told us that you service the pool on Thursdays. We like that better than Tuesday. Again, so don't do anything automatically that would upset the relationship with you and the new buyer of the house. Another thing also to be aware of is that they don't know a lot about the pool usually, and so it's your job as well to be communicating to them basically how the pool works. They have questions. They want you to answer those questions. It would not be standoffish with the new owner. You may be thinking in the back of your head, well, they're asking me all these questions because they want to service the pool themselves. That's a possibility, but that's also not the possibility. It could be they just want to know more about the pool, and by you not communicating or being helpful will make them want to continue service less. Another thing you want to avoid is the pool having a problem or being messy. You want to take extra care of this pool during the fact that you have the new owner, during the transition period, as they're getting used to the pool service, getting used to you doing it. Don't do anything that's going to call attention to the pool as being not maintained well. Algae in the pool being cloudy. Anything like this could jeopardize that account pretty quickly. And again, there's no goodwill built up here between you and the new owner. They don't know you, and them calling around for another quote or for another service company may be a possibility if they see that you dropped the ball. So don't drop the ball. If you have an employee doing the pool, make sure that the employee understands that they can't drop the ball here, and do everything possible to accommodate the customer. If they want to switch from Thursday to Friday, I would say you may want to explain to them that your service day is set for the reason that you're in this area during that day. This can be problematic because a lot of customers buy the house and they think Friday is the best service day because it's right before the weekend. And you can explain to the customer that yes, Friday is a good day, but you're just not in the area. Thursday's just as good as Friday. Sometimes Friday is not good because you want to use your pool Friday afternoon. I always tell this to the customers, by the way, whether true or not. I let them know that a lot of customers like using their pool on Friday after school. Kids get home, they want to use the pool. The weekend starting, so Friday is not usually the best service day sometimes. And in the summertime when everyone's home, it doesn't really matter what day of the week you're there because people use the pool different days during the week. So I would kindly explain to them that Thursday is the day that you're in the area, that you'll make sure that the pool is ready for the weekend. If you do the pool on a Tuesday, it can be problematic because sometimes they want the pool service later in the week. Just assure them that the pool's going to look fine all week long. And again, you're mainly using the pool in the summertime, so it doesn't really matter too much what day because the kids are going to use the pool on a Wednesday, sometimes after school, or a Friday, and definitely on the weekends. Having the pool service on a Tuesday also is a great way to make sure that when you do use the pool on the weekend, that I'm there early enough in the week to make sure the pool is, safe for the rest of the week. I shock the pool. I make sure that the pool is running fine for the rest of the week. And it's always good to get there a little early after the weekend, especially after heavy use. So Tuesday is actually a perfect service day. Figure out ways to explain this to the customer the best you can. The last thing you want to do is change service days because sometimes you're already full on that day. Worst case scenario, you can change service days to keep that account because it is producing income. Find someone on your route that's well established. Maybe you've been servicing the pool for 4 or 5 years and see if you can switch them out and bring the other person onto the new service day they require. Fridays are going to be tough in a lot of cases, so that's the day that you don't want to move them to in most cases. Moving someone off of Friday is hard. It's really weird, but people don't like to be moved once they are on a good service day. Another conflict that may arise is they may hire a new landscaper. Let them know that you're servicing the pool on Wednesday. If they can get the landscaper to come on Monday or Tuesday, that's the best scenario. Sometimes when you're servicing a pool where the landscaper was coming on a Tuesday, if the new owner takes over the house and wants a different landscaper, their service day may be a Thursday. Not optimal because you would like to have especially if there's a lot of grass around. Now, if there's no grass around the pool, it doesn't matter what day they service the yard, in my opinion. But here in California, a lot of pools have coping, then a 2-foot sidewalk, and then the grass. Or they may just have coping with the grass right up against it. The worst kind of pools, by the way, are those. And then the landscaper makes a mess of the pool. Always emphasize that you would want to time it, or you want to do your best if they are hiring someone new to have them come before the pool service scheduled day. I think it's always best that way. May not always work that way, but for me, it's better to do the pool service after the landscaper's been there for a number of reasons. They may blow something in the pool pool may look messy, they may clog up the skimmer. All these are possibilities if the landscaper comes after the pool service day of the week. Again, hard to schedule sometimes, but try to do your best to make that happen. Another thing to discuss with the customer is the automatic cleaner. Now, I like having automatic cleaners on all my service accounts. I think it's the best way to go. Some people may not agree with that, but I like automatic cleaners in every account. And so the pool should have one already, and let the customer know that you'll be maintaining that cleaner, that cleaner actually helps keep the pool clean all week long. And so that's why if you're servicing it on a Tuesday, they shouldn't worry about the pool not being swim ready later in the week. The automatic cleaner is in there to help maintain the pool. And you want to instruct them what to do with the automatic cleaner if they want to use the pool and take the cleaner out. This can get complicated, especially if it's connected to the side port. You can tell the customer to turn this valve here. I generally don't worry about it. Like if the cleaner comes out of the pool and the side vac lock closes and it's not getting full suction, it's okay because they're going to put the cleaner back in anyway after they're done swimming. Typically would want to teach them how to do this. Sometimes customers won't put it back in and leave it laying on the deck. I've had pools running with the side port partially closed because the vac lock is closed. It's okay. It's not going to do some severe damage to the pool in most cases. But you can explain to the customer that when you take the cleaner out, simply turn the valve this way. It's good to mark the plumbing too, so they know where to turn the valve, turn the side port off. If it's connected at the skimmer, it's much easier to just take it out of the pool. But I like to have the customers put it back in if possible. Sometimes they don't. But it's one of those things where the automatic cleaner can be problematic when people use their pool, especially someone who bought the house and they're new and they want to swim in the pool, because a lot of times the previous owner never used their pool, never been an issue. The new people are using the pool now, and so you have to explain to them the proper storage of the cleaner. I had one pool where I didn't do this, and they took the cleaner out of the pool, and I was looking for it. I'm like, okay, where's the cleaner? I told the story before. It's like a pool pro horror story. I was like, where did I put the cleaner? And I remember it was a Zodiac Ranger. I like those cleaners. They're good cleaners. And I'm looking for it all over the property. Finally, I text the owner. I'm like, hey, I noticed you took the cleaner out. I know you had a pool party. Can you tell me where you put it so I can put it back in? He's like, yeah, it's in that little thing right there by the pool. Little thing by the pool. I looked at it, and it was like a little wicker kind of pool storage thing. Literally, it was 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet, and it was rectangular, and it was about 2 feet tall. So I take the lid off, and the cleaner's in there. The hoses are coiled up. I'm not kidding you. So tight, and the cleaner head is stuffed down in there, and they covered it with a lid. And, it was, of course, I took it out, put it in the pool, and the hoses were all curled up. It was almost impossible to get that memory out. So, of course, I texted the customer. I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you that when you take the cleaner out, if you can lay it over by the equipment or just lay it on the grass area lengthwise, because if you coil the hoses up, they're going to have that memory, and it's going to be hard for the cleaner to operate correctly afterwards. Now, of course, what I did to straighten the hoses out is that I laid them out in the sun for a few hours, and I came back over and reinstalled it. And then I took the hose sections off and moved them around so that it kind of broke the memory of it, but it still wasn't perfect. But you have to explain to the customer how to properly store it and how to remove the cleaner, especially if you have a Polaris pressure side cleaner. Show them how to disconnect it from the wall without breaking it off the wall. Many times they'll break the little clips on there because instead of doing the motion you're supposed to do, they just kind of force it and turn it without releasing it first. So teach them how to release the quick disconnect without breaking it. Teach them the proper storage of the cleaner, but invariably they're going to break the cleaner. Sometimes I've had that happen where they just take the pool Vernugan cleaner and they toss it over there by the equipment, and it breaks some of the parts of it. I've had wheels broken off on those, and it's something that's kind of a learning curve with the customer, what to do with the automatic cleaner when they're going to use the pool. And it's important that you go over that with them. Also, teach them how to turn the heater on, how to put it in spa mode. All these are important aspects that they're going to be asking you about when they take over the pool and they're new to it. So don't be surprised if, they're going to ask you to help them put it in spa mode, they're going to ask you to help them turn on the heater, and also give them the tips like, you don't want to leave the heater on because then you're going to have a large gas bill. Believe me, I've been to accounts before where I put my hand in the water to check the chemistry, and it's like 95 degrees in the pool because they left the heater on all the time. Also, instruct them how to put it back into pool mode after using the spa. All these are important aspects, and this is something that's going to take you some more time to do, but take the time and effort to explain all these details to the customer because it may be new to pool ownership, and it's your job as the pool service provider to let them know how to operate the pool so that it doesn't cause problems for you later. For example, if they have a standalone variable speed pump and you never tell them that if they push the stop-start button, they have to push it again after they're done using the pool for the pool to go back into the program cycle runtime. If you never tell them that, they're never going to know that. And so don't be surprised if you get to the pool the following week and the pool's been off all week. That's kind of your fault. You should have told them that if they're using the standalone VS pump, if they want to turn the pool off and use the pool and they hit the start stop or the on off button, they have to hit that again to get it back into the regular scheduled mode. These are all details, and sometimes you have to kind of refresh your memory on that pool because you're not doing any of this stuff on a regular basis. And so explaining to the customer, I find sometimes you kind of get tongue-tied because you're like trying to explain something that you don't do usually because, again, the previous owner never used their pool. So just be aware of all the extra steps involved, and they may call you back for something, and I would definitely go back as a courtesy sometimes to help them work out a problem. And you can do a lot of this over the phone as well. I've taught customers over the phone very easily on how to put the pool in spa mode, how to turn on the heater. So these are things that, of course, the customer should know. One thing I like about new owners when they take over is that they're usually pretty proactive. At least most of them can be or should be proactive when you say they need something replaced. Again, they may try to go to the home warranty company. I mentioned this in the last podcast, that when they purchase the home, the seller will buy home warranty or cover the equipment for 1 year. It may not extend to the saltwater system, by the way. There are different levels of these home warranty services that they can purchase, but I would let them go through the motions with these home warranty companies to see if they're going to replace something under warranty. But a lot of times it'll fall on you to replace it. So a lot of them are proactive. They want things working. They want the latest things sometimes. So if they don't have a saltwater generator, selling one is easier sometimes at that point. So I like that aspect of it. The aspect I don't really like too much is that the new owner tends to use their pool a lot more than the previous owner. You'll find you have to kind of make sure you maintain that pool for that reason, because a lot of times they're going to actually use that pool, whereas the old owner had it for 15 years. They never really went in there because they got bored of it or whatever. The new owner is definitely going to use the pool more. So adjust accordingly and make sure you have enough chlorine in the pool, of course, for that reason. And I've taken over pools before where I meet the new owner and the kids are like already in the pool. They already started using it the first week. So it's going to be something new to you, but hopefully it wears out over time and they don't use the pool as much. But at least for the first year or two, I feel like the usage goes up dramatically when someone takes over the pool. If they have kids, of course, or younger, a service agreement definitely comes in handy with the new owner. So if you want a copy of a one-page Word document that I have, of a service agreement that goes over your sick day policies, your vacation policies, wind policies, what they're responsible for, email me at david@swimmingpoollearning.com. Again, that's david@swimmingpoollearning.com. And I'll get you that service agreement over so you can have the new owner sign it and go over the aspects of the pool care that you want them to be aware of. And again, if you're looking for other podcasts, you can find those on my website, swimmingpoollearning.com. You can also come here to YouTube Monday through Friday, and there'll be a new episode. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll get that in your inbox, and you'll have a new episode every day, Monday through Friday. And if you're interested in the coaching program that I offer, you can learn more at poolguycoaching.com. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Have a great week, and God bless. This episode is brought to you by HASA, providing products that deliver clean, healthy water for every aspect of everyday life. The bottom feeder battery-powered vacuum system, portable, powerful, and only weighs 12 pounds. And Skimmer. Get Skimmer, America's #1 pool service software. Podcast listeners can try Skimmer for free at getskimmer.com/poolguy.